So I'm driving along the original Carlin Canyon route of the Emigrant Wagon train. Um, Many of the early wagon trains came through here, fording the Humboldt River across into this little canyon between Elko and Lovelock. It wasn't that easy for them. Um, Actually, there was a bypass or cutoff that was developed later on up and over the hills, um, that actually added 3 miles to the loop. So it really wasn't that easy for them. They called it the Greenhorn Cutoff. So many of them took this route anyhow. The route was later replaced by the original Central Pacific Railroad and then by the Lincoln Highway, known as US 40. And the road I'm actually driving on is what remains of the old highway US 40. And off to our left here is Interstate 80 with the Carlin tunnels. So now they have the tunnels going through the mountains, which obviously the immigrant wagon trains didn't take the tunnels through the mountains. So I'm going to drive this and give you a perspective of what it was like for them along the Humboldt River in this area. So the Humboldt River is off to my left here as we're looking down. I would imagine that the wagons probably followed along the easiest path along this river. It's an interesting canyon. It kind of winds through for only about 3 miles. And here's them coming up on an old wayside station of the Highway 40. Just kind of interesting. Plus a Trails West marker there to the left. It's kind of a beautiful section of the Humboldt River. It's my understanding that the immigrants had somewhat of a love-hate relationship with the Humboldt River. In this area, it was really nice and drinkable water, but the further west they went, the more alkaline the water was, and the worse it was for both humans and livestock. I first came through here a few years ago, towing my trailer heading out to Colorado, and it was in the early summer. And a camping app had directed me to come down here, and I was looking for a night to just pull over in the trailer and sleep on my way. Well, when I was driving on this road that afternoon, while beautiful, there were all these Mormon crickets all over the place, all over the ground, all over the road. I was crunching them as I'm driving along. If you haven't seen Mormon crickets or heard of them, I suggest you look them up. They're not the prettiest looking crickets you'd ever see. I literally was driving over hundreds of them. And I did get some video of that. And I realized that after driving through here, this was not going to be a good place to camp at all. They were climbing all over everything. If I stopped, they would climb up on the tires of the Jeep. There's a beautiful section of the river right there. So when I was doing that a few years ago, I did not know that this was part of the original immigrant wagon route. I suspected it was part of the original Highway 40, but not the wagon route. So I found it interesting later when I learned that. Here we're coming up on another old way station from Highway 40 on the right. And you can also see that the original route of Highway 40 curved up to the right here and eventually was replaced by I-80. And so that's closed off, can't drive that anymore. So this is what's known as Chestnut Road or Chestnut Drive, I'm not sure. And you can see this is the west end of the Carlin tunnels where I-80 comes out. This is how you get back into the town of Carlin. It's easy to see that despite the difficult travels of these wagon trains, that this area is both relatively easy to cross over, while at the same time being difficult depending on how many times they had to cross the river. There's a slight embankment on both sides. It ranges from slight to probably 10 to 15 feet in depth. So I would imagine that they really try to minimize how many times they had to cross the river.